Well, hello friends, and welcome to another weaving video. I'm actually finishing the warp for the first time on my Glimakra loom, whose current working name is Heddle Loom. She is currently getting through her first ever warp. So what I just learned to do from a nice man on the internet is how to do a hem stitch, I think. So what I'm actually going to do, because I didn't hem stitch anything else, is I'm going to roll it back and hem stitch the ends of all of the other ones, because I didn't. Now that I know how to do it, it took me about 64 watches, and finally this man got through to me. I will link his channel down below. He deserves a follow. He got it through to my autistic ass. Anyway, I'm gonna hem stitch this, and then I will be rewarping it. And because I have to watch a pot of dye, I'm going to rewarp it in the front room where I can make a much longer warping area because I have more space in there than on my desk. And then I will warp her in there to be long enough to make a table runner. Our next goal is a table runner using a different combination but the same linen, because I need to use it up because I ordered like $200 in fancy scarf yarn, and I need to make a lot of yarn disappear to make room for that yarn because otherwise I'll be buried alive. So there's like a one in, one out policy with craft supplies in this house. I have very strict laws that keep me from being buried alive. If I diverge from them at all, the entire house will be taken over. Anyway, I've learned to hem stitch, I think, and I'm going to do that for all of this, which would be 3 more times, I guess, because I made two items on this one set of warps. So I'm going to do that, and then I will see you when it's time to unroll her. All right, we're back. I did it. Nobody died. And it's, it feels secured. I can't move it, so I presume that means I did it right enough to not have it actively unravel, so we'll leave it at that. Have realized that because I didn't do this all the way up, I'm going to have to unfurl it. I'm not going to be able to unfurl it because it is still attached to the heddle. So what I think I'm going to have to do is cut it off way down, way in the back there, because I can't roll this up onto it. I mean, I can get this out of here, the heddle stick that we've been using. But then I'm going to have to roll it up somehow. So what I'm thinking is I'll just cut it off, and then I'll take this off, and then I'll kind of roll it up a bit. If that doesn't work, I'm just going to get a big old rock and weight it down at the back. But one way or another, we're going to work and get the rest of these 3 seams done so that we can get the whole thing off and then go rewarp it. This is taking considerably longer than I thought, but I am learning a whole new skill, so we're going to be gentle with ourselves for that. Back when I've and reattached this may have been an ill-advised plan. Well, anyway, we're learning as we go, and that's what's happening. So, see you in a minute. All right, so what I managed to do was tie little knots around the wads of warps, and then I trapped those knots under this beam up here, which allowed me to grip it just tight enough to roll it back up after cutting it off of the beam. So now I'm here, and I have to learn how to do it right side up because I learned how to do it upside down first. So I'm going to do that. Also, definitely didn't leave enough fringe to make a long fringe per se, but that's okay. I guess this will kind of dictate the length of the fringe on both sides because I did not leave enough warps in between to make a 6-inch. Well, that might be 6 inches. It's more like 5. Anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna do these now, and then the last one will be at the end of this warp, and then I will be back to unroll the whole thing with you, but I don't think you need to watch me do a whole nother row of that. Also, now I have to learn to do it right side up, and it's gonna look weird to me and you at this point, because I did it upside down first. So that's where we're at with this, but we're, you know, we're learning, so we're going forward. right, we did it. Of course it is imperfect, it is my very first try, and I conveniently used the hem stitch to kind of straighten out those edges, if you didn't notice, in the sewing process. So I'm going to be very brave. I tied these off. I don't know why I thought that would help them like stay less tangled as we launder them. I wish I could tell you why I thought that was a good idea. I forgot to do it in between them, so it's a little pointless. Oh, don't mind that sound. It's just my backdrop falling off because everything's falling apart. Anyway, we are going to cut this off, and I will speed that process up, and then I will be moving this to the other room so we can warp it on more sturdy furniture in a larger area to make something long enough to fit on my table. And this video is now, it really should be 2 parts, but we'll make it one. We'll just speed through the weaving on the other one. Anyway, I'm going to cut this off, and we're all going to be very, very brave together, and we're not going to cry. Did I just like choose not to tie this one? Why, Erica? All right, Night Erica failed us on this one. I'm going to tie that one, and then we'll cut it off. Well, hello. Claire Loom has been relocated to one corner of my dining room table. She's bolted down nicely, and across the other side of the living room, over on the specimen table, is our peg. Don't mind the other specimen cases. It's fine. I just emptied those out of some taxidermied birds. I need them for a coral reef. It will all make sense someday. To me and you. All right, well, we're going to get to warping this. This is made this long so I can make a table runner. So the very table you see there. So I'm going to try to make a table runner. Do you have to back all table runners, or do you just leave it? I don't know. I wish my 12.5 dent loom had come. We're still working off of a 10, but that's okay. I didn't want to turn this also into learning how to use 2 heddles at one time. That's for another video. All right, well, let's warp this lady. I don't really have the gumption to bring out my whole filming rig, so I'll update you as we go along, I suppose. There will be no speed through fun filming for this. I don't want to. I'm too tired, y'all. All right, well, sorry for any sounds in the background. It's the dishwasher. Life goes on. I'm pretty scared of trying to get this length evenly warped in tension, and linen seems to be fairly unforgiving to having uneven tension. So I may roll up some bubble wrap, but my other thought was, since I don't have my husband to hold this with his arm currently, what if I took a very heavy piece of furniture and hooked the thingy down there to the piece of furniture, and then it could slowly drag the heavy piece of furniture towards itself. Ho ho! Now I just have to find something heavy enough that I can drag it with the pawl strength of this and not pull the table that way. Well, I'm off to hunt for a piece of furniture to bolt this to drag across the room. These are all very normal issues for a person to have, thank you. You can tell me I'm the cleverest girl in all the land whenever you would like. Found my husband's free weights and shoved it through, and we've got like a cotter pin type situation here acting as a stopper, and now I can go over there and I can crank it. Ho-ho! It's a little looser on my starting warps than my ending warps, so I'm not sure really how to address that other than to shove bubble wrap in one side as I roll it up, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Clever girl. Highly recommend it. Make your own warping mill out of free weights. It's fine. Well, with a lot of guidance and a considerable investment of bubble wrap, we are nearly to the end of this obscenely long warp, and it is quite uneven by the end, and I'm going to have to Google how to make that better. I presume not having it like go downward across a room and having a level space to do that on, or, you know, one of those warping boards would be good. Anyway, we have this. But we're getting close and I need to take a sitting break, so that's what I'm doing now. We're back. You'll notice that it is the night, and also that there is no longer any plastic and fluff on the loom. The reason we were having trouble is because, and I will link in the description box below the person who helped me work this out in my head, I didn't know prior to getting this that linen is not recommended for rigid heddle looms, and that is because there is no give to the linen, and technically in a physics sense, I don't remember which one she said it was, so don't take me at my word, but I believe the ones that are in the holes rather than the slots have to be marginally longer than the slotted warps because of the physical function of the loom. Something to do with the fact that in both positions, one set of warps is always parallel to, or like even with the warp bar, the heddle. And so the one set of warps, which we noticed on my last weaving, was looser than the other. That's because technically half of the warps need to be slightly shorter or longer, depending on how you think of it. So I unrolled the whole thing again, which was scary. And now we're to here, and you can see the major exposure of the different lengths once you lock this in the down position. And by locking it in the down position, you're making one set of warps slightly longer than the other as it rolls on. I've just been kind of like pushing them in to the inside a little bit, not a lot. And so far it feels pretty even. I've just been combing it back and then like cranking the pawl up. Also realized I would not have enough to weave it double going back and forth with the weft yarn, so I had to order a whole nother ball of that from Lithuania. We're still waiting for that to arrive anyway, so I'm going to tie down the heddle a little better before we tie this onto the front beam, but so far much more even, and you can see it's more even at the back as well. Anyway, we're going to work it out. We're going to get through this, and then we're going to weave something easier than linen because I don't need to do the hardest thing you could possibly do on one of these looms twice. That is unnecessary for me to survive. All right, so I'm going to continue rolling this up, and I'll bring you back when we're hooking Miss Claire Loom onto the front beam. All right, see you in a minute. All right, been another 2 days, but finally got it up there and have been tightening and retightening it as it kind of relaxes onto the roll there. Had to do quite a bit of tightening in between the poofy ones because they are adding a bit of height to the roll. However, this is the most evenly tight I've gotten it. So I will probably let this sit and see how much it loosens overnight. And then I'll start in the morning because it's already like 9:30 and I don't feel like I should. Yeah, I shouldn't do that. We'll check it in the morning. All right, but we'll retighten it. And then I think I will end this portion of the video and just do another one of me working the linen on here because apparently we're not supposed to work linen on a rigid heddle loom. But we did in fact get it on there. And it does have semi-even tension. So we're going to give it a hell of a try. All right, I will see you in the morning. All right, well, it took me roughly 3 weeks, well, maybe 2 weeks of a few hours a day of work and trying to work this out, but I think I have, in fact, warped it. I have my heddle stick back there so that I can do my warp floats. I'm going to do some plain weave, I think like 12 rows, and then I will have to do the hem stitch across. And I will probably, I'm going to say I'll do that in the next video. I will say that I tightened it again after unrolling a couple inches. I still remain a little alarmed, and I know I'm going to have to struggle through it because it is linen. But you can, in fact, warp it on, and I will include a link in the comments or in the description box below to the lady who helped me understand that it was 2 levels. The rest of the video was useless to me, but understanding that it was 2 levels and warping it in the down position was her recommendation, and I give her full credit for that. So I have a piece of cardboard. I have to go get another little piece from a toilet paper roll so that it doesn't leave bumps in the linen as it rolls it up. And I guess I will go get my camera rig and move it out here because that's easier than moving the whole loom back. She's kind of installed on the table at this point. So I think I'll be weaving out here until I'm done with this. I have doubled over my weft and we did it. I'm exhausted by it. It was a hard day yesterday. Anyway, I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and I hope you will attend to watch us make a big, long table runner with a 3-1 warp float on our rigid Heddle loom. And don't forget that these are the ones that we made first, and this was with linen too, but I didn't warp nearly as much onto it, so it was much harder to do it. And I remember half of these being considerably looser throughout the weaving, so we know that warping it in the down position should help that, and hopefully we will survive the weaving. But I will see you in the next one. Bye!